Okay, I'm going to show you a video on how to make a custom web font for an interface. So I'm actually going to be using Icomoon, but before I get into that, I'm going to show you how I really start and utilize and create the glyphs. So this is Sketch. Inside Sketch, I create different icons of different sizes. So icons that are a little bit bigger, I keep there, and by bigger I mean if you're aligning the width of the outlines for each of them. And typically when you're doing a family of them, you follow the same paths, like rounded corners. Like this would be kind of a no on here. So this does need to be fixed up, but this is early days of the design of these things, so these will be aligned. And you want the thickness to be the same. So this is a little bit thicker than this one, so those would be fixed up. But for purposes of this demo, we're just going to create a hamburger menu with the close on it. So in the case of this, what's really important is that this width and these are the same, and they're at a 2.5, so check that. Other thing is you want to make sure that these are kind of flattened, so they're all in one contained, I guess, object or grouping, especially in Sketch. So you can see like this menu, as opposed to them being three separate lines, they're all part of one flattened object. Actually, that has not been, yep. One object that's looped together right there. Same thing with all these, like you would not want to have this be like a color white. You'd want this to be transparent. So this background color, yeah, so you can actually see that it's outputting this way. And the reason for that is you want your SVGs to come through written a certain way, and it'll help it get optimized for the web. Another thing is I like to set up and create multiple versions of it. So Sketch has this nice thing on the different artboards where I can provide different widths of them. So I like to create JPEG versions of them as well. Sometimes I'll do a light and dark version of it. But the SVG is really the important one. It's just nice because you can generate the different sizes of these. I can do them. But basically for this one, what I will do is I will export this into a project here. Go here. And you would just put this where, wherever you want to store these files. Actually, I'm going to go back here. Where do I want to go? Go here. This is what I'm using. Export. And you can actually export multiple things at once. I don't know why I didn't do them both, but exporting. It's been exported. So the next step is I'm going to go into my browser. I'm just going to create a new browser and start from scratch. And I'm going to go to icomoon.io/app. And what this is it's a website where you can generate, or an app where you can generate a custom web font. A lot of my projects I have a starting point or a boilerplate, and I'm actually going to start from there. So I'm going to go to workspace, and I'm going to go here, and inside my project, when you say this out, you get a JSON file. So I'm going to be utilizing that for building this out, and I'm going to pull it from the source here. So I've previously made a web font, but it's more of a placeholder. But this is what's really important, is this selection.json file. That's one that you want to store inside here, and what it'll allow you to do is the next time you open this up, you'll have all the icons that you use. So anything previously. So these are just some base ones that I have from the beginning. As I showed you in Sketch, I would want to go through and add all these, including these guys, if I ever wanted to use them. It's just nice to have them referenced as a web font, meaning that if I put a character to it, I can replace it. But I'm going to import, go back to where I was. And my directory structure is kind of a mess for this project, but trying different things on it. I would hope that yours would not be as horrible as mine. So we're going to take this close one that I created, and you can see it shows up there. And then I'm also going to do the menu one. These two are going to replace these current ones inside here. So as I go through, I'd want to replace and align to my, I guess, brand and look and feel. After I do this, I go to the next one, and you see this glyph close and arrow right. As I said, I want to replace the close, so I'm just going to give it the same name as this, and I'm going to delete this guy. And what's really important is that character that was inside there was an X. So that X is going to be the character. Whenever I use a capital X, it's going to be replaced with this glyph when I use this font inside there. And then going here, you can see that this is this guy, and it's called menu. This name is used really for ligatures. Get rid of that. And put the equal sign here. And put menu back here. And now I've created this. So if I download this font, I can install this font on my computer, and that font would be able to be used and utilized as any font on my computer. The one thing that's really important, and I hit no in the beginning, so if I didn't hit no, I hit yes, this would have given me the ability to say, give it a name. And I know my web font is actually called web font, so I did something generic. When I hit download, you'll see that it downloads this web font. So that's the name of what it would be called if you installed it on your machine. So let's go here. Give me 1 second. And what I'm going to do is I have that downloaded web font. I'm just going to put it into my directory of where I have all my styles for this website. And there's that web font. It's the old version of it, and so this is where I pull that selection.json file to build it from Icomoon. But when I make a new one, I get a new one. So if I wanted to start from here, from where I added those new ones, I would just upload this to Icomoon and use this as my font. All right, so now I'm just going to do something really quick and optimize this. And we're gonna go to the browser here for this UI that I'm building out right now. So you can see the old web font is there right now, and when I hit this, it has this X. And I'm going to replace that with the new one that I've created. But if I look at the code here in the inspect, it is making reference to this before, and you can see that it has this equal sign and it has that web font that's inside there. I did just replace it, so now you can see this web font's inside there. And oops, it looks like on this guy I'm using a capital or lowercase x. So on the before, if I were to change this to a capital X, we would see this come through appropriately. So yeah, so I need to update my code to do that. The good thing about looking at this inside the browser is you can see that this is a little thrown off. So what I would want to do is go back to the original and optimize it. So even though it looks all nice inside the browser, sometimes it's not the right size that you want. That's the beauty of especially using thin fonts inside this. What I could also do is increase the font size here. So that's the nice thing about web fonts is you have a lot of flexibility to do these things. So just see 27 here and close this out. It gets a little closer there, but basically that's how you would create a web font. And then the next time I go to I want to update that font, or maybe even if I want to change out those hamburger menu lines, I can just go back into where I was in that project and go to that selection.json and say yes, and I have these guys back. So I can start editing from here and making any updates. I can remove ones that I don't need and download them. So that's basically how you create a custom web font and implement it inside your code.